Chapter 9 of the Curatage Ghost. So, up the tunnel they went, past the wall of bones. The roof got lower. Grandad had to bend almost in half. Another 20 yards, and they came to a small, gnarled old door. Luka's heart sank. He pushed at the door, but it did not budge. Grandad tried. It creaked in protest. He tried again, launching all his considerable weight on one little door. It creaked again, seemingly in protest. Then, suddenly, gave way, and he fell inwards in an undignified heap. This was a proper room they found themselves in, and it was stacked with old weapons. An armoury, very old musket-like guns stacked up against the wall. Arquebus, if you really want to be clever. Longbow shafts, crossbows, lots of rather long, rather unpleasant-looking items. There you go. Luka was captivated. He tried to pick up a long barbed pole, just like that one. It was too heavy. "It's a deboweling pike," said Grandad, picking himself up off the floor. Luka was not quite sure what he meant, but it didn't sound good, so he let go of it quickly. They both stared around. It was a large space, longer than a cricket pitch, and nearly as wide. 22 yards, in case you've forgotten, and full of militaria. "You could equip a small army with this," said Luka. "I wonder if that was the plan," mused Grandad, half to himself. "I bet that lot in the hotel upstairs know about this, and that they are selling the best weapons without letting the proper authorities know. I just bet. They were very cagey with us, weren't they, Grandad?" He nodded. "Yeah, you might well be right. But if you are, they won't be pleased to see us, so we must be on our very best behaviour. And remember, Luka, don't say anything about what we have discovered. They're not the only ones that have something to hide." At that point, Luka backed into a stack of pikes that began falling with a series of very loud crashes, just like that. You can imagine, can't you? Luckily, they were not hurt, but the noise had alerted someone. A trapdoor at the end of the room opened, and a ray of electric light shone down a small stone staircase. What Grandad had forgotten was what a scary fright he looked. He was wearing only a blood-stained torn t-shirt, ripped and dirty covered shorts, and black trainers, making it look in the torchlight like he had no feet. His thinning hair was all over the place, and he'd lost his glasses. If you did not know better, he looked like a phantom. The manageress did not know better. She shone a torch straight at him, screamed, dropped the torch, and slammed the trapdoor shut. Luka started laughing. "She thinks you're a ghost. You do look pretty scary. I think you're going to have to be nice to her, otherwise she won't let us out." Luka went up the stairs and knocked on the trapdoor. "It's all right, it's only my Grandad looking scary," he shouted. Eventually the trapdoor opened again. This time it was a man, and he was not happy. "Who the heck are you? And what are you doing in our cellar?" "I'm Luka, and we're from the curatage, the house across the road. Grandad got stuck in the tunnel. He was too fat to go up the stairs, so we came this way because we knew the cat must have come from here, and so there must be a way out. Then I knocked over—" All right, I hear you. I suppose you'd better ruddy well come up." Luka and Grandad climbed up the steps and into a more normal cellar, full of wine racks and other kitchen-type bric-a-brac. Here stood John Purdy, and he stared at Grandad. "Christ, you're a sight to frighten horses. No wonder the missus took fright. I'll take you out the back way so the guests don't see you. Otherwise, they will all leave." He paused. Look, you've seen our secret stash now. I would be very obliged if you would shut up about it. It's Dr. Tate, isn't it? I mean, do you want interfering busybodies knowing about your tunnel? Well, put like that, just at present the answer is no. We've only just found the tunnel and it would be good to explore it. Ah, you found something too, haven't you? Grandad was a little unsettled by John's perspicacity. Well, I have to tell you, I've been all the way down to the post office. There are bones most of the way down. I think they call it an ossuary. There was a collapse at the lower end. I think that's how the National Trust bloke got hurt. But that means they will be nosing around into this tunnel fairly soon. Then it will go to the coroner and, well, how's your father? So you and I must get our choice pieces out before then, eh? Nudge, nudge, wink, wink, you know? Know what I mean? You know? Don't want it all going to some museum, do we? Grandad realised that he was a conspirator, but he didn't really mean to be. How could you tell this man, John Purdy, that he was trying to help a ghost? The ghost did it for him. Sir Max's voice appeared in all their heads. "I am the rightful king. The physician will help me. You must help him." A very dusty and cobwebbed bottle of wine floated out from the wine rack and dropped at the landlord's feet, smashing dramatically and covering all three with deep red wine. "That's Sir Maximilian de la Pole," said Luka authoritatively. "He is the curatage ghost. We are trying to help him." Grandad looked a bit sheepish. John, however, was terrified. "That's a trick. You're playing ruddy games. There's no such things as ghosts. What's going on, Doc?" "Help him, you fool!" This was too much for the landlord, who turned and ran. Luka and Grandad followed. Poor John emerged into the kitchen in such an uncoordinated hurry that he fell over Ramphis, the cat, who howled "Rawr!" in protest. John, rather wild-eyed and trembly, plonked ungracefully on his bottom and stared up at Grandad. "Look, I don't know what your game is, but I will say nothing if you say nothing. Is that a deal?" Grandad nodded uncomfortably. There did not seem to be much more to say at that moment. He grabbed Luka's hand and rushed out of the back door. They were both back in the curatage in no time at all. Grandad particularly immensely relieved to be home. And that is the end of chapter 9. Bye.